What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. We have some crazy news right now, randomly, at 4 PM my time here, so it would have been, what, around 2 PM Japan time. Currently, we actually are in maintenance for the 12.1 update, and we were waiting to see what the next batch of characters were going to be, because we knew there was going to be an official, regularly scheduled batch at the end of the month. Now, a lot of people were saying, was it going to be Film Red? Are they going to wait for Film Red? And it looks like, yes, they are waiting for Film Red a little bit later on. We don't know when it's going to be coming out just yet. However, we do have the official announcement of the brand new Sugo-Fest batch, and it is going to be ULTI. So ULTI is the first legend. There is a secondary legend, which we'll go through in just a moment. So for those of you who are unaware, ULTI was a character that the community could vote for out of 4 different legends. It was going to be ULTI, Hiyori, Toki, as well as Shinobu, young Shinobu. So ULTI was the one that ultimately won, and we have a secondary legend out of that batch as well. So let's go ahead and go through what this character actually does. So with this, we have the information here, and I have translated this, and let's go ahead and jump into it for Legend ULTI. Let's actually get the background here. Let's do it. Where's that little notepad? Here we go. So for Legend ULTI, her captain, well, just talking about the unit itself, she is a strength powerhouse fighter, and she happens to be another character that is a super class powerhouse. Can you believe it? Super class powerhouse. They just absolutely love it. I don't know why they've done it. Yet another version of a super class powerhouse. What does that make it now? Like, we've had like 5 super class powerhouses in a month. It is just, it's too much. It just is. I definitely would have preferred it if this character was a super type strength unit or a super fighter. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And especially when you read the PvP abilities of this unit, it would make a lot of sense if this character was a fighter unit. But either way, this character is going to reduce the crew's special charge time by 1 turn at the start of the quest. Also recover 10 turns of despair. So nice inbuilt, you know, a little bit of utility there. And then boosting the attack of powerhouse and fighter characters by 5x. And then boost their HP by 1.5. So a little bit bulky, minus cooldown, a little bit of utility. Like, it's a good captain so far. And then if there is a strong enemy tagged present, boost the attack by 5.25 times instead. So for those of you who have no idea what a strong enemy tag is, enemies are tagged with that typically when they have a damaging effect that can kill you. That's typically when you see that little skull symbol on an enemy. However, the ULTI has an ability that can like tag an enemy with that effect, and then by doing so she can provide conditional boosts with that. We saw the exact same thing with the dual legend ULTI in page 1 that came out you know, obviously about a year ago now, maybe a little bit less than that. So it makes sense. But the strong enemy tag is a little bit of a problem because the way that it is inflicted to enemies, like there's a certain condition that has to be fulfilled for it to activate, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult for it to work. But overall, captain ability, there's really not too much to say about it. It's fine. We have a look at her super class special. As we said, she is a super class powerhouse, but you need to have one of the, you know, beast pirate characters on the crew. It doesn't include X Drake, by the way, which is kind of a shame because she is strength, she's powerhouse, good synergy with X Drake, but, you know, no synergy because X Drake is not one of the characters tagged. Now, it says enemies with 10 million or more HP are classified as strong enemies. So this is the ability that can inflict that to the enemy, and I believe this goes through all immunity buffs. So even if the enemy has, you know, full immunity or immunity to certain debuffs, I believe this is still going to work against them, which is pretty incredible because it doesn't really inflict a debuff, it just tags the enemy in a certain way. So you can use this on like a final stage, inflict them with this, you get the buffed captain ability, makes sense. Boost the attack against strong enemies by 1.75 for 1 turn, and extend the duration of base attack boosts by 1 turn, and then powerhouse becomes super powerhouse. Now, I think that the super class effect is pretty lame because it only really provides a conditional boost against enemies that are 10 million HP or more. So I guess it's not bad because you can just use it on the last boss stage and just get a free conditional boost even if the enemy has immunity buffs. Like, it's definitely usable, but like, it's not really wowing me either, especially when we have a look at the special, right? So 13 turn cooldown for her special, reduces the special bind and attack down by 7 turns. I think that's actually really good. Increasing the chain timing or the chain tap timing bonus of powerhouse and fighter characters for 1 turn depending on the tap timing. This is the exact same buff that Super Tandem Law and Super Tandem Kid would inflict to your crew, where, you know, with Law, it was based on Free Spirit and Cerebral, and then with Kid, it was Striker and Driven. So now you have ulti, and if you tap, depending on your tap timing with Powerhouse or Fighter characters, you get an increased chain multiplier. So if you keep tapping perfects, you consistently add 0.6 to the chain multiplier. It's really good, works with chain boundary effects. Again, would synergize very well with X Drake, but honestly, it's kind of weird that she doesn't proc with X Drake. But either way, it does that, it does the utility, and then boosts the base attack of Powerhouse and Fighter characters by 1250 for 1 turn. And of course, you use her superclass effect to extend the duration of the effect to make it last 2 turns. So I guess if the enemy has a revive, you can keep it for the following turn. I don't know. Extending the duration of base attack by 1 turn is kind of lame. But then again, you could use Bond Clay, for example. I think Bond Clay's base attack lasts for 2 turns. So you can use that and then use her superclass effect on like a previous mini-boss stage. And then you carry Bond Clay's 1500 base attack into the next room. I think that could kind of work in a way. So it's fine. But I think the best component of this unit is the utility and the chain effect. The base attack is a nice bonus, but I think that this is probably where she's going to see the most play. And then you've got her support effect, which is attaching to the same characters that you need for her superclass. Once per adventure when inflicted with despair, you just reduce it by 2 turns. It's a very good support. We'll see lots of play. You know, Kaido getting more supports is fantastic. Obviously, when you're using the hybrid Kaido from the 8th anniversary, using him, getting more supports for that character is wicked. So this is, again, probably one of the main uses of this character, I think, just because it's such a useful, powerful support effect. And we can have a look at her Rumble stuff, right? So her Rumble special gives your fighter teammates level 10 attack, level 10 speed, and level 10 crit up for 20 seconds. That's actually really good. And then deals 2 times her attack to 3 enemies up to 2 times. Like, that's a really good Rumble special, really good CT, and the fact that it looks like she provides all the buffs before she does the damage is incredible, so she's going to be hitting incredibly hard. Then you got her Rumble ability, which is simply level 6 attack and 8 HP to your fighter characters. This is, again, like, really good, and honestly, oh man, this character would be so good with V2 Katakuri in Pirate Rumble. Like, this, Who's Who, Katakuri, like, this is actually kinda cracked. I would love to pull this unit just to test it in Rumble with Katakuri in the squad, because that Rumble special is fantastic. And one of the big things with Katakuri and running him alongside some of the Powerhouse and Fighter base units is they don't actually have a lot of characters that straight up just boost attack. Katakuri is like the only one. So this is a really good addition to those types of teams. I would love to run this with V2 Katakuri, and I think it kind of makes sense with the other character that she surrounds herself with. But I think that this character is just okay. Like, it's not really wowing me, and honestly, I think a lot of people are probably just going to keep holding on until we get the Film Red celebration, because that's what I'm really hoping for at this point, because this is not like screaming to me like, oh my god, this is a tier 0 broken unit. Like, this unit is going to be good, no doubt, but I don't think there's going to be content out there that you can't beat just because you don't have this character. One thing I'm kind of concerned about, though, is the fact that this character has really good utility, and replacing that utility in free-to-play content I think is going to be kind of annoying, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. But that's the breakdown of Ulti. And then the secondary legend is actually Hiyori, and Hiyori, I believe, was the second highest voted character in the pool that was given to us with the poll, and that means that we have 2 characters left, being Shinobu and Toki. One of them, well, actually both of them are probably going to be summonable characters, rare recruit characters. That's what we think, right? There might be a free-to-play character that's going to be attached to this event. We're not really too sure how it's going to work. But as for Hiyori, she is a lot different to what we had with Ulti here. So we can see that with Hiyori, she is a Dex Cerebral Slasher, and she's actually a super type character, and luckily none of these units have super tandem, so that's actually really, really good to see. But let's go ahead and have a look at the effects of Hiyori instead. So Hiyori, as we said, is going to be a Dex Cerebral Slasher, and her captain ability is going to boost the HP of Dex and Strength by 1.25, and then boosting their attack by 5.25 when you have a Wano slot. If you don't have a Wano slot, you're still getting a 5 times boost, which is pretty respectable. And then recover 0.5 times her recovery for every perfect tap at the end of the turn. We've seen this a lot before. And then also provide 15% damage reduction. So health, damage reduction, and healing per perfect. So she's going to be a very bulky captain. And then just a pretty good multiplier across the board. The only real problem I see with both of these characters is they don't really provide ways to get matching slots effectively with their captain abilities. You're kind of relying on a bit of RNG, or you're relying on crewmate abilities to kind of help you out there. But again, like very basic captain ability, but it works. It's a good captain ability. And then we can have a look at her super type effect. So you do need 6 characters on the crew that are either cerebral or slasher, which is not very difficult to build for. Though it is kind of, it can be a little bit of an issue, I guess, because she is a color-based captain, but you do have to also fulfill the class combinations for her super type effect. So I guess, realistically, it can be a little bit difficult to fulfill, but if you do fulfill it, you get the ability to get -1 cooldown to your cerebral and slashers, and also reducing 7 turns of enemy resilience, which is a bit of a weird one, but I think that's kind of neat, because sometimes resilience is just such an annoying effect, and I can see definitely if there's going to be some content, some free-to-play content surrounding this batch, getting around the resilience could be a bit annoying, but then also making Dex characters become super Dex. So not like a god tier super type effect by any means, but I mean, -1 cooldown is never a bad thing. That's always very useful. Getting around special reverse mechanics, being able to do that is actually pretty neat. And then you got her special, which is actually multi-staged. We'll just look at stage 2 though, because stage 2 is pretty cracked. Changing all slots, including block, into Wano. Just that alone is amazing. But then locking your crew slots for 1 turn, and then reducing bind, despair, and chain coefficient reduction by 7, and then recovering 50 times her recovery in HP. I mean, again, it's not like it's not a very complex special ability. These are not complex characters by any stretch, but these are incredible specials. I mean, healing, amazing utility, and a full board of Wano slots, and also locking them. That is nuts, dude. The fact that you can use this on a mini-boss stage, moving to the last stage, and remember, Wano slots cannot be changed by the enemy, so being able to walk in with Wano slots is just incredible. Wano slots being probably the best slot in the game overall, being able to provide a 2.5 times boost compared to a matching slot, which is only a 2 times boost. So they give you more damage, and lots of characters can really abuse Wano slots in really, really cool ways. So I dig this unit a lot. I think this character is quite phenomenal, honestly. Like, she's not going to be used in a lot of content, but sometimes you just need a special like this. Just give me Wano slots, let me lock them, and then also just reducing a lot of different debuffs. And the fact that she's also a slasher that reduces bind and despair, you can have Whitey base support to reduce an additional 2 turns of bind and despair. So you can move up to 9 turns, and with sockets it goes up to 12 turns of bind and despair removal with this character alone. It's pretty interesting. I think it's pretty good. And we have a look at her support effect, attaching to Zoro, Toko, Odin, Toki, Momo, Kinemon, Denjiro. So a pretty odd array of characters, but it makes sense. And at the start of the final battle, they get a Wano slot and 2000 HP recovered. Very good. Just being able to generate Wano slots is, again, pretty phenomenal. And then we have a look at her Rumble abilities. So her Rumble abilities are focused around the Cerebral class. So you've got her ability, her special, 27 CT, 1.2 times her attack in a medium range, and then also applies a counter to herself for 15 seconds. And then Cerebral allies get level 8 attack and level 8 speed for 20 seconds. And then inflicting enemies in a large range for damage over time level 3 for 15 seconds. This is one component of Planet Rumble that really hasn't been explored too much, and that is the damage over time effect, where you can kind of have a way to stall out the enemy and just let them kill themselves with damage over time. It hasn't been too successful, and I don't think it will be successful still. And this character does not do a lot of damage at all. She's more of a supporter role kind of character, just providing some really good buffs to your Cerebral allies. Cerebral aren't really that good in Rumble at the moment, so I don't really expect that to change too much with this character's release. I can't think of too many characters that are going to work straight up with this character. Probably Carrot and Wanda is one that comes to mind straight away, that you could definitely run some cool stuff with this character. Then the Rumble ability provides your Cerebral teammates with level 5 attack and level 5 recovery, and for the first 30 seconds, your Cerebral allies get level 2 CT increase. CT increase Rumble abilities are always very valuable, so anytime you see that, and especially that this character does it alongside an attack buff, yeah, I think if you are building a Cerebral team, you want this character on that team, just because of the Rumble ability alone. The special is okay, but the Rumble ability itself is actually really, really good. But with that, that is the actual rundown of both characters in the batch. So, I don't know, let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys. What do you think about the Hiyori and the ULTI Sugo-Fest exclusive characters? Remember that these are characters arriving at the end of a month, which means that these characters are going to be available on regular red tickets and Sugo-Fests moving forward, so you don't have to stress too much about getting these characters straight away. These characters do seem interesting. If I could pull one of them, I mean, I'd really love to pull the Hiyori just because of her special ability, generating 1 slots, utility, healing, locking slots, very valuable. But if you're looking at a Pirate Rumble perspective, I think that ulti has a lot of really good upside, but in regular content, I'm not really the biggest fan of the ulti, but I think that, you know, ulti fans out there are probably going to be very, very excited about this news. But with all that being said, that is going to wrap it up from me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.